Hey guys, attorney Jerry Parisi here, and today I'm going to answer the question, what are my options when I've been sued for debt? Or what are my options when I've got a debt collection lawsuit against me? And in my opinion, you've got about 6 options. Some of these kind of run together, but stay with me here. So the first one is ignore the lawsuit. Second one, hire an attorney. 3, do it yourself. DIY. 4, settle, enter into a settlement. 5, fight the lawsuit. And 6, file for bankruptcy. So I think those are really the 6 options that you've got when you're faced with a lawsuit for debt, whether it be credit card debt, medical bills, back due rent, car repossession, any kind of consumer debt like that. So we're talking about consumer debt here. So let's just go down the line. First, ignore the lawsuit. I generally do not recommend you ignore a debt collection lawsuit. If you do, more than likely the plaintiff will receive a default judgment, and then which will eventually allow them to garnish your wages, garnish your bank accounts, put liens on your real property. I think there's nothing good that's going to come from ignoring a debt collection lawsuit, so I don't recommend you ignore it. Second option is hire an attorney. I'm an attorney, so obviously I recommend that you hire an attorney if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, you want to call like legal aid. Call Atlanta Legal Aid if you're in Atlanta, or whoever services your county, and see if you qualify for their services. And if you don't, maybe they can refer you to a low bono attorney or somebody else who will do it pro bono. There's some other services. Lawyers for Equal Justice is a service here in Atlanta that could potentially help you. So look them up, give them a call. But if you can afford hiring an attorney, if it makes financial sense, I think you should at least call them, see what your options are, see how much they charge. Third option is fight, do it yourself. So do the research on your own. Look up. There's a lot of resources on the internet. Almost everything you need is on there, but it'll take you a very long time to get the hang of it. So all the time that you're spending learning it, learning how to fight it, and then maybe not knowing the nuance, you could have paid an attorney to take that time, but you can do it on your own. I don't recommend you do it on your own if the case is in state or superior court. I really, you probably only want to do it on your own if it's in magistrate court or small claims court where the cases go up to $15,000. So, see if you can do it on your own. And then, so hiring an attorney and doing it on your own are kind of melded with the next 2 options, which are settle it, which is number 4, or fight it, which is number 5. So, when you hire an attorney or whether you answer the lawsuit yourself, you've got 2 options at that point. So you could enter into a settlement agreement, negotiate a reasonable payment, and you can pay it either in a lump sum, which they'll usually take a lower total amount, or if you can't afford a lump sum that they'll agree to, you can enter into a payment plan. They'll almost always take a payment plan and make reasonable monthly payments, even after a lawsuit's been filed. That'll be a settlement agreement that you can enter into. Another option is to fight the lawsuit. Like I said, whether you do it on your own or whether you hire an attorney, you could potentially fight the lawsuit on the merits. Maybe you have a defense, maybe you have an affirmative defense, maybe you have a counterclaim, or maybe the debt collector, the creditor, or whoever is suing you, the plaintiff, just doesn't have the evidence or cannot prove their case in court for whatever reason. That really applies mostly to debt collectors, like debt buyers. They oftentimes don't have all the evidence to prove their case. So you could fight the lawsuit. And another option is bankruptcy. You can file bankruptcy. Obviously, most people know this, to get rid of unsecured debts, like credit card debt, medical debt, things like that. But there are pros and cons to bankruptcy, and you want to see what those pros and cons are and whether it makes sense for you to file for bankruptcy. Sometimes it does. If you're sued for like a $1,500 credit card debt, would it make sense to hire an attorney to fight that. When you potentially have, you know, $10, $20, $30,000 in other debt outstanding that you could wipe away in bankruptcy, you gotta, it's a personal decision. You want to see what the pros and cons are to that. Now, some other negatives to bankruptcy are, you know, the hit to your credit score. It'll drop your credit score, I don't know how many points. It'll stay on your credit report for 7 to 10 years, so it make things harder for you to get credit, to maybe rent an apartment, stuff like that. But like I said, a pro is wiping out all your unsecured debt if you're in a Chapter 7, getting on a payment plan if you're in a Chapter 13, and then wiping out the debt after 3 to 5 years after that. So there are your options, guys. Options to handle a debt collection lawsuit, a debt lawsuit after you've been sued. Ignore it, which I don't recommend. Hire an attorney, which I do recommend. Do it yourself, which may be your best option. And then settle the debt, which is often, you know, your best option. Or fight it, which if you've got great claims, counterclaims, or defenses, may be the best option. Or bankruptcy. You want to look into bankruptcy too if you've got a lot of outstanding debt. Those are in my opinion, those are your options when faced with a debt collection lawsuit. Thanks.